Welcome to the Prophecy Club, and yes, you can tell my voice is not totally back to normal. I had a terrible, miserable night, only a couple of hours sleep, hacking and coughing, but I think I can make a program, so the show must go on, as they say. So our topic today is economic collapse has arrived. Now, before I get into this, let me just say something. My heart is to tell you everything I know. That's my heart. I want to warn you. But I can't. I don't know how to say this. You remember I told you that July the 14th of 2008, that was the night that I was on an 18-city speaking tour, and part of what I was talking about as well in Israel. And that was the night that I said, Lord, I hope you're pleased what we're doing. And he said, Stan, I will give you the money to drill the well in Israel. And that was an audible voice, and I literally woke up and answered it back, and I said, the oil well in Israel, but there was no answer. So God arranged for me to get into a position to where he is giving me that money. Now, I don't know when, but God has connected me up with some people that I absolutely positively have been warned out of my mind to keep my mouth shut. As a matter of fact, I've signed papers, and I have given them permission to monitor all of my phone calls, all of my emails, and they do. And I'll give you an example. About 4 years ago, I was talking to Lindsey Williams before he went home to be with the Lord, and I didn't say it. He said something. He said 2 words, and all of a sudden, dial tone instantly. And that's happened twice. Now, I say that because I'm trying to be kind about this. I know some things that I can't tell you. Believe me. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I called one of the guys, and I said, okay, I want to say this. Can I say this? He said, I wouldn't. I said, well, can I say it this way? He said, I wouldn't. I said, well, can I dance around it like this? He said, I wouldn't. So I just want to let you know, I know some things that I can't share. But here's what I can do. Because of that, I don't know, and I don't have a good example. But because I know those things, I know some things to throw out and not bring you that I see other channels talking up, and they're acting like, oh, yeah, we really found something. And I want to say, no, you didn't. that's not the direction it's going. That's not going to happen. But I can't. But I want you to know, to the very best of my ability, I bring you accurate information as best as I can bring you. Now, I'm going to be talking about economic collapse today. What I'm bringing you is sometimes from my unnamed sources. I know it to be true, but I can't tell you about the source. I can't tell you why I know it to be true. But I'm bringing you some really, really important information today. And so I suggest you go watch all of the way to the end. As a matter of fact, there's some things at the end. I even thought I might make into a whole broadcast. This might be a long broadcast, but it's going to be important. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I've been asked, just got off the phone in my office. I said, okay, we need you to give them a message. Tell them all of the Berkeys have now been shipped. However, in the middle of taking those orders, our credit card company, no decision of ours, decided that they were going to update their software. So we have about 20 orders that must call our office, not email. You must call our office and give them your credit card number again. I don't understand it. I'm just the delivery boy here. Call our office, 785-266-1112. If you don't get an answer, it's after hours, whatever, leave a message. Tell us how and when we can reach you. We'll call you back. But we got to put a limit on it. So we're saying that we must hear from you 20 folks. If you haven't got your Berkey, just to be safe, I'd call our office, okay? 785-266-1112. Leave a message if you don't get us. If we don't hear from you by December 11th, your order is subject to cancellation. So if there's somebody that hadn't called our office, we might have some Berkeys for sale come December the 12th. So we don't want to do that, but what we're trying to say in a nice, kind, polite way, call our office. Call. If you're in question, call. If you hadn't got your Berkeys, call. they can tell you, then all of the questions be answered. Okay. Also, we're asking everybody to subscribe to the channel. If you'll click like and share, that sends it out to more people. We're also asking people to join Prophecy Club, $9.90 a month. That way you're actually part of us before the Lord, and hopefully you'll see some big, powerful rewards when the people start coming to the Lord over this. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to point out something, because this is going to tie together with some information I'm going to show you later. And I know some people say, oh, yeah, well, some of the things Dana Coverstone hadn't come to pass. Well, some of the things that Jeremiah prophesied haven't come to pass. Some of the things John in Revelation prophesied haven't come to pass. Okay, but they're warnings. And the part I want you to see here is this. Behind the tables were live chickens, fenced-in area, horses, rack of eggs, tools, various meat, and various food vendors. There were customers lined up and buying and trading and bartering. Why were they bartering? Why were they bartering? Obviously, something had happened to the dollar. Either it had gone worthless, or we were in a time of war, or we were in the society had broken down. That's the point that I'm saying. They were trading and bartering. Now, with that in mind, let's go on. Filings. 64 U.S. bank branches filed to shut down in 1 week. They know something. These are the wealthiest people on the planet. PNC Bank, JP Morgan Chase, these are the people that know what's going on. They know something's coming. And they're shutting down, and they've been doing this a lot. I can show you many articles where I'm going to guess over 1,000 different branches, not 64, over 1,000 different branches have actually been shut down just in America, just this year. It goes on to say 19 branch closures in Pennsylvania, 4 Illinois, 3 in Texas, 2 in Alabama, New Jersey. It goes on. J.P. Morgan closed 18 filings. You can read it. 11 states, New York, Illinois, Florida, Massachusetts, Citizens Bank, 6 in New York, 7 closures. They're closing them. Bank of America, I think that's, if not the largest bank in America, one of the largest, made 5 filings, 2 in New York and 1 in Texas, Massachusetts, and California. Why are they closing these banks? Well, it goes on to tell you in another article. Bank books. This is the euro. $149 trillion equity swap is due December the 15th. Now, I'd like to be able to tell you I understand all of these highfalutin numbers, but I don't. I'm just a prophecy teacher. But I can read what others that do understand them say. And what they're saying is something big and bad is right at the door. A bank in Europe has on its books an equity swap valued at $999 trillion, $999 billion, $999 million, 998,900 euros. That's a lot of money. Making bank exposure ultimately 149 trillion euros. But the question is, where do they get the money to settle? Well, before they got it out of the pockets of the taxpayers. This time, my guess is, from the information I know, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be a total new change in our global currency system. Let's go on. An equity swap is an exchange future cash flows between two parties that allows each party to diversify its income for a specified period of time while still holding its original assets. I don't understand all this, but I don't have to, because the next thing's about to explain it. Satan has been defeated. Now his minions are being rounded up. Now, I like Benjamin Fulford. Every once in a while he quotes the Bible, and I think that he knows of the Bible. I'm not totally convinced he's really a Christian. But he thinks that we're coming into a time where the bad guys are going to be defeated and put down, and we're going to have a wonderful new utopian world. Well, I think that the bad guys are going to be in an attempt to be defeated. That's the internal revolution. But I don't think that they'll stay down long. I think that the new system coming in will only be in place. Well, Messiah had a dream that said you only got 6 months. When the new system comes in, you got 6 months to get your money out of the new system. So he goes on to say, Satan has been defeated. No, he has not. And now his minions are being rounded up. Yes, I do believe that some of his minions are being rounded up. And if you go to RRN, I can't say the words. I hope you know what I'm talking about. They'd take me off that quick if I say that website. Something fundamental has happened at the highest levels of world power. Satan, as in an ancient cult of human slavers, has been defeated. And now a mopping up operation is underway. The signs are everywhere. First, though, let us look at what has been defeated. Okay, so what has really happened? I do think that there is a defeat of Satan, but he's not totally defeated. He's going to come back. You watch, he'll take over this new system. It'll just take him a few months to do it. When Asian secret societies first approached me in 2006, they gave me the following hand-drawn chart of their power structure. Sorry about the coffee stains, which I'm not going to put up. It didn't make any sense to me anyway. It was all gibberish. So that leaves David Rockefeller with an inheritance that now consists of the United States Corporation under the fake president. Now, those that are in dark, it would be better for me not to say those words, but you can read along and you can read them. Canada under Castro and many of the Fortune 500 companies. His Politburo is a Swiss-based group. Politburo member may have been trying to oust Junior with its Great Reset plan. He failed. I don't think he's failed. I think he's got a setback, but just because they get a setback, they don't quit, okay? In other words, much of the news and events of the past several years can be seen as the Rockefeller clan trying to stay in power. That I agree with. This is why the first thing they did, what they stole the 2020, I can't say that word, was to cancel the Keystone pipeline to stop the U.S. from buying non-Rockefeller oil. That's probably true. They also blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's probably true. I can't prove that, but probably true. It goes on to say, nonetheless, despite impoverishing the Americans and Europeans to stay in power, the Rockefellers are still facing bankruptcy. That's a lot of people are saying that, so that's probably true. Russia, the most sanctioned country in the world, will end 2023 with a profit of $75 billion, according to Bloomberg. The U.S., however, the most indebted country in the world, will end 2023 with a loss of $2 trillion, according to the New York Times. That's probably true. If you're catching this, now, if you're broke, you like me and the rest of us, then it might not matter so much. But if you got a little bit of money in the bank, that's even more important that you don't lose it. And that's the reason you want to consider calling cornerstoneassetmetals.com. But if you have a pretty good stash, or if you have like a 401k or one of those investments, if you got an investment where you got money in paper, you're in a very dangerous position. I cannot give you financial advice, but cornerstoneassetmetals.com. So I'd recommend you give them a call. Let's go on now. Last week, the Rockefellers I can't read today. I'm not feeling good. Last week, the Rockefellers hoped to stay in business by offering the Chinese pretty much anything they wanted in exchange for more money. They offered California to the Chinese and lined the streets of San Francisco with Chinese flags saying, "Oh, look, San Francisco turned into China for President Xi's arrival, finally revealing its true colors." They told him the Chinese would not lend any more money to the U.S. corporation. Now, understand there is an all-capital corporation that Biden is heading up, but there's another real republic that is not all capitals. And I probably shouldn't tell you who's heading that up. But remember, Henry Groover told us that DJT was coming back. That's what I'll say it. The dysfunction of the U.S. political system will continue to coexist as long as the country is still able to use the dollar to rein in the world economy. Well, that duck that's going back and forth being shot at is called the dollar, and it's about to be shot and killed starting January 1 when the BRICS new gold-backed currency comes online. The failure to get money is why Biden disparaged Xi as the dictator of the communist government at the meeting. Well, he's guessing a little bit, but he may be right. So, what I suggest you do is go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. You can give them a call. There's the phone number. Just look, you don't have to buy anything today. Call them and say, okay, look, here's my situation. I got this and such. What do you suggest? And they may say, you're in a pretty good position. They may have another suggestion. I think it's wise to get counsel from someone that's in the business that can give counsel and see what they say. Okay, this is a real important part. The Khazarian Mafia wants to surrender and asks for amnesty. Now, that Khazarian Mafia, more correctly, is called the Molochs, but I shouldn't talk about that. The Khazarian Mafia is trying to negotiate a surrender. The Rothschild family is offering to hand over control of the Western financial system to the Planetary Liberation Alliance. They're asking for amnesty in return. That probably is true. Now, this is the most important part of the whole program. The Alliance has responded with the following demands. Now, the Alliance, let's assume that it's the good guys. And let's assume that what he's saying here is accurate, because from everything I know, it probably is. So he says the Alliance, or the good guys, the white hats, if you want to call them, is saying, we demand a jubilee. What's that? That's the clearing of all debts. As in a one-off cancellation of all debts, public and private, must be carried out. Now, I know a little bit of something about that, but I can't say it. The wealth of the world, stolen by creating money out of nothing and charging interest on it, must be returned to the people. Now, that's the point. The wealth of the world, in other words, they're going to take the entire wealth of the world and they're going to divide that up in such a way that they can start distributing it back to the people. That's the good guys. That's the new system they're working to bring in. I almost said something I shouldn't say. The post-war Western-led institutions like the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, and the UN, etc., must be replaced by something that actually serves the people of the planet. That's accurate. All the technologies, such as hydrogen, anti-gravity, and a whole bunch more, cures for diseases and stuff like that. Well, you remember the guy from Australia, the prophet that an angel came to him and showed him all of a new world. I mean, where they put down a lot of bad guys for briefly, and they bring in a lot of good things are happening. Well, this is part of it. In other words, after they bring in the new system and they arrest a bunch of the bad guys, this is what's going to happen. Hydrogen and anti-gravity that have been suppressed by the KM must be released to the public. That's accurate. A massive campaign to end poverty, to stop environmental destruction, must be started. Yeah. I think they'll work on it. I don't think they'll make it, but I think they'll work on it. Democracy, freedom of the press, and the rule of law must be restored in the Western countries hijacked by the KM. And we believe that's part of it. I can't say more. There's some more. Oh, believe me, I'd love to tell you what's going on, but I can't. The true hidden history of the planet must be disclosed to the people on all the major media. They have a plan for that. You'll see it. Believe me. When this thing happens, and we're told it's very, very close, when this thing happens, I'll be able to then get on and say, okay, this is what I've been talking about. Okay, this is coming. I knew this is coming. All right, let's go on. The KM are trying to surrender because they fear the pogrom to end all pogrom. Now, I looked that up, and that is basically a sweeping of the bad guys into jails and perhaps worse. In other words, a big cleanup of the planet. See, that's what Dmitry was told. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. I think that's the good guys trying to round up the bad guys. But the bad guys are already too entrenched. They're already controlling too many things. And you don't even know who they are. A person that's been working side by side next to you, you think they're your friend, you think that they're going to be able to help, all of a sudden stabs you in the back, and you find out that they're a traitor. That's the way the devil works. He works under the table, behind the back, behind the curtains. He's not the guy where Jesus says, that which I do openly. Well, that which the devil does, he does not do openly. I'll read it again. So the KM are trying to surrender now because they fear a pogrom to end all pogroms will be carried out by the backers of the U.S. President Donald Trump. There you go. Okay. Look, see that right there? That's real important. That's accurate. The KM is also trying to cut a deal because there is a group apparently planning to shut down the entire digital banking system. They claim to represent the U.S. Treasury Department, but say they are not connected to supposed Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and the fake President Joe Biden. See this right here? I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. This has nothing to do with Biden or Rockefeller, correct? It's a process related to the new financial system, aka QFS, or the quantum financial system. And that is according to, I took that away. I don't have that guy to quote anymore. Anyway, let's go on. Representatives of the Asian royal family say they're willing to provide dollars, but not if it is going to the Rothschilds. I would love to tell you what's going on. That right there, that's true. Let me read that again. Representative of Asian royal families said they're willing to provide the dollars, but not if it's going to the Rothschilds. They're waiting for a reply. That's the most important thing I've said today. I'll read that sentence again. My guess is, sad to say, most of you do not understand what I'm reading. And I wish I could explain it, help you to understand, but it would get me in a lot of trouble. Representatives for Asian royal families said they're willing to provide the dollars, but not if it is going to the Rothschilds. They're waiting for a reply. This situation is the biggest geopolitical move since the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. I'm going to say this situation is the biggest geopolitical move since mankind got out of the flood. It's unbelievably big. And that's all I should say. What I'm trying to say is, let me say it this way. Yes, if you go and you get some gold and silver at cornerstoneassetmetals.com, it helps your prophecy club. So big deal. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because when the trouble comes, and when bartering is the way we get around, there's a place where having gold and silver is going to be very important. You want to be on the far side of the table that has the gold and silver, not the person standing in line begging. You don't want to be begging. You want to be the person that has it, okay? Just like you want to be the person on the other side of the table that has the bread, not the person that's one begging for the bread. And so when it comes to that, let me jump down here and take a second to tell you. Okay, so if you want the bread, instead of being begging for the bread, then you go to josephkitchen.com. You order a machine package. That's all the gizmos to grind the wheat berries, make the bread and everything. 30 seconds, put the wheat berries in the grinder. You got flour. You put that into the bread mixer or the bread machine with 5 or 6 other ingredients. Push a button. 2 hours and 40 minutes later, you have a nice hot loaf of whole wheat bread, which I eat. That's my breakfast and my lunch most every day. And I'll have to say that my cholesterol has dropped to normal. And my blood pressure has dropped to normal. Matter of fact, my cardiologist took me off of one of the blood pressure medicine. He wouldn't take me off the other one, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm 70 and I play racquetball, and I have a slice of bread before I go play racquetball every time. Every time. Matter of fact, I'll be playing this afternoon, and I will have a slice before I go play. Okay, so let's go back to this. Here's what the creator of the quantum financial system had to say. This is big stuff. The idea of a new financial system, did you catch that? A new financial system. See, I can't say it, but I can quote someone that's saying it. I can just tell you this is true, okay? The idea of a new financial system is to place all of these off-ledger assets. I wish I could explain to you what that is. I know. All of these off-ledger assets unto one global repository, which has a dual control of the world's central banker and the collective, unanimous, agreement of the world sovereign heads of state. What's that saying? It's saying all the world is going to be going into the system. Now, we prophecy students know, yes, it may start out good, just like the internet started out good, just like Hollywood started out good, but the devil gets a hold of it and he corrupts it. Well, this will start out good, but the devil will get a hold, he'll turn it into the mark of the beast system. Anyway, so he says, I'll read that again. To place all these off-ledger assets into one global repository, which has the dual control of the world central banker and the collective unanimous agreement of the world sovereign heads of state. The various currencies, commodities, securities, and general wealth would be denominated in the secure, look, this is, what they're saying here is really important. It's just that you probably don't understand unless you have some of the other stuff. And the other stuff I know, but I can't explain. In a secure single digital currency, I'll read it again. The various currencies, all of the currencies of the globe is what he's saying. All of the commodities, the gold, the silver, the oil, the diamonds, everything, commodities, securities, everything, all of the wealth, all of the wealth, all of the wealth, all of the wealth, all of the wealth is put into a secure, single, digital currency. Digital. You remember the young boy that had the dream where he saw people, I don't have my cell phone right here, and he said he saw that people had these devices about the size and shape of a cell phone, but it wasn't for making phone calls. It was only used for buying. Bingo. In secure single digital currency, and in time, all the fiat currencies would be wound down or removed. What did he just say? He just said that there's a new financial system coming in. Now, for his prophecy students, we know that no man can buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. That takes a digital currency system. We know because Henry Kissinger said, he who controls food supply controls the people, who controls energy can control whole continents, who controls money can control the world. So it's the good guys overcoming the bad guys, removing all of their fiat currency, their worthless currency, removing them from the system, setting up a new system with good intent. Problem is, we prophecy students know where it eventually ends up. Let's go on. A single digital currency in all time, all the fiat currencies would be wound down. It replicates what Adnan Sakli tried to do and failed. What did Adnan Sakli try to do? He tried to replace the fiat currencies with an asset-backed currency. That's what he tried to do. Go look up that word, Adnan Sakli. By the way, it's hard to find anything about the guy. It's been mostly removed from the internet. Tried to do and failed, and also acts as the strategic structure reform of the UN, WB, BIS, Basel, the dispersal of wealth to the general population by way of various structural projects. I wish I could explain that too. But they have a way to where there's, how do I say this? Okay, so we know that the dollar is going to go along and then go 30% down, 50%, 66% to zero. So when it hits zero, it'll go along at zero for a while, but then the new currency system comes in. When the new currency system comes in, a lot of people can be blessed. But the problem is, during that downtime, that's when all the bartering takes place. And that's the thing that you want to get prepared for. You want to have food, you want to have water, you want to have water filter. You want to ask yourself, look, if I can't leave the four walls of my house for a year, I don't know, maybe there's a virus out there, maybe there's people shooting out there, or I don't know. But if you can't leave your home for a year, do you have everything in your home or within reach of your home? If you don't, then you need to start praying and saying, Lord, show me what I need to do to get prepared. The dispersal of wealth to the general population by way of various structural projects is then handed on the new mainframe so that a new international banking platform, look at that, a new international banking platform, and all digital and very secure with control held by military intelligence. Years of work have gone into it, mind-blowing stuff. Little wonder the Rothschilds attempted to have me assassinated. Near copy of JFK. And by the way, he was assassinated. He died like back in 2006, this guy, Adnan Sakli. Go check it out. Go look it up if you can find it. It took me a while to search and find it. Brothers and sisters, I have run out of time. But I said some very important things today. So let me remind you, cornerstoneassetmetals.com, josephkitchen.com. If you haven't got one, get yourself one of these. One for each of your cars, one for each of your home. And you go to empshield.com, put in the promo code prophecy. And yeah, that helps your prophecy cup. But look it, when the EMPs hit from the suitcase nukes and your car starts and no one else does, you're going to be thinking about Prophecy Club. So maybe you say, oh, I'm glad I got that from Prophecy Club. So get yourself prepared. I don't want us to be in line begging for food. Instead, I want to be us in line giving out food. And so here's what I suggest you do. Go to Joseph's Kitchen. It's bread. I mean, I have bread for most all of my breakfast and my lunch is a slice of bread. You want to go to Joseph's Kitchen. What you want to do is get this machine package right here. That's all of the gizmos you need to actually make the bread. Then the supplies are like this. Food for one person 1 year, 2 people a year, 4 people a year, 6 people a year. They're ready to ship it out right now. They've got all of this stuff. They're not out of anything. They can ship it to you. And there's videos, and there's also recipes to show you how to make all kinds of bread recipes. I think I would call bread famine food. In the days of Joseph and the pyramids, 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. And what was it that fed the year or the world for 7 years? And the answer, wheat. Wheat. And that's what Joseph Kitchen sells. Wheat. Wheat is, there's not a perfect food. In other words, one food where a person could eat nothing but this food their whole life, but probably wheat comes the closest. So recommend you go to Joseph's Kitchen, get yourself stocked up. So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com and if you use the promo code prophecy, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So empshield.com, promo code is prophecy.